Oh? You lot are early. The club doesn't start for another 10 minutes. Oh well. Salutations everyone. My name is TheAldroid and welcome to my club.
Well, this has gone a bit too meta for my liking.
Doki Literature Club. What is there to say about it? For those of you who don't know,
Have you been living under a rock?
DDLC was released on the 22nd of September 2017 and was developed by Team Salvato and stars 4 main characters that act as love interests in the game. Sayori, Yuri, Natsuki, and Monica.
Students! If you've been on the internet for a while, I'm sure you would have heard of Doki Literature Club.
And you've probably found out that this game is a horror game.
I am so jumpy right now.
However, how this game achieved it was a lot different than most other indie horror games that were around at the time. Let me explain. Alan, why isn't the intro card coming up?
You've got to say the line.
What line?
The line I say, you know,
No, I'm not saying it.
Say it or we will not continue with the episode.
Fine. Salutations everyone, my name is Harry Jones, and today we're going to take a look at why Doki Literature Club is the perfect horror game.
Doki came out in 2017 into 2 contrasting markets. The indie horror game market that was full of jump-scare-filled horror games, and the visual novel market, a place that was filled with... So, it was safe to say that this was an oddity, and a good one at that. People went nuts over this game as it was a chastened pace for the horror genre, as instead of going down the route, Dan Salvato went down a different one.
The first thing you'll notice if you look at some of the pictures of the game is, oh, it's just some visual novel junk. What's so scary about that?
And then you think to yourself, what could go wrong? Oh, you're back. I thought you left me for the other 2, Alan and the other one. Oh well, you're here now and that's what matters. Where shall we begin? Here we go. A book about psychology, I guess? That doesn't seem fun. No, wait, where are you going? When you launch up Doki Literature Club for the first time, you're greeted with a warning. This game is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. So immediately you know this is a horror game, so you should be prepared for a few spooks. But the game launches up properly and it's just a standard visual novel opening screen. Nothing scary or out of the ordinary yet.
Emphasis on yet, lads, as this game is going to get freaky real quick. And I don't mean the good type of freaky.
Except, it doesn't. The game just goes on like it's an actual visual novel. You meet up with Sayori, go to school, and she drags you to the literature club where you meet up with 3 other girls to discuss literature. The game just keeps going, and going, and... Hold on, am I playing an actual dating sim?
I mean, how else are you going to talk to girls?
Arguably, one of the most important aspects of a good horror game is its atmosphere. If your game doesn't have a good atmosphere, it can leave you feeling all hollow and empty inside when something scary is supposed to happen and take you out of the immersion. So, how does this game create its own horrific atmosphere for the player? It doesn't.
The game plays out like an actual dating sim game. Your first few hours of the game are nothing but a calm, relaxing time with all the Dokis.
I'm having fun!
This is actually a clever psychological trick the game is playing on your mind. With this comforting atmosphere, the game establishes a norm that your brain becomes quickly accustomed to. Your brain is quick to decipher things that should be considered normal for every situation, and does this for a lot of video games as well.
For example, Super Mario Odyssey makes you feel like you're going on an energetic quest. Breath of the Wild makes you feel relaxed as the world is your oyster and you're free to explore the vast world it contains. Or to try at least.
Oh, God!
So in Doki Doki Literature Club, the game playing out as a normal visual novel is key to making it a good psychological horror game. It gives your brain a norm for its atmosphere, and it sticks to it for the majority of Act 1. And Act 1 is really freaking long. Nothing really scary happens except for some music cutouts, and that doesn't last long at all. The game goes as far as giving you 3 distinct scenarios for 3 of the main Dokis, Natsuki, Yuri, and Sayori, further relaxing your mind and telling it that it's okay, nothing bad's gonna happen. Yet. No scenario for Monika though, and that's important for what's to come. At the end of each day, you get to go home and write poems for one of the characters in an attempt to make them your waifu and win over their affection.
Harry, what the hell are you doing?
Act 1 takes a very long time to complete, enough time for the calming atmosphere to fester in your... The calming atmosphere to, fester in your... Oh, thank God. For a minute I thought Sayori was gonna be... Who's up for pinata?
Oh, hello again. You're late. Oh, you're here now and that's what matters. What do you want to do this time? I'm sorry. I feel a little bit off today, haha. I'll be fine.
Near the end of Act 1, Sayori will start to act strangely, which kickstarts the main plot of the game. After Sayori dies, the game will start to freak out and glitch from this point onwards, destabilising the norm you've created for yourself whilst playing Act 1.
It's also worthy to note that from this point on you should start checking your game files, especially the character ones as Sayori's will now be missing. This is incredibly important by the way, so remember it. Sayori's death acts like a point of no return for the entire game, as no matter what you do, you'll never be able to return back to a previous save.
Not even making a backup save will work, but don't worry, we'll cover that in a bit.
Stop winking at my audience! Welcome to Act 2, also known as Your Worst Nightmare, trademarked. The game will kick you back to the title screen, except Sayori's gone all edit that to be all glitchy, that would be... And the new game icon has more tick boxes than a survey form. It's also of note that no matter what you do, you cannot go back and load up an old save, as it will give you a text box saying Sayori's character file is missing. Starting Act 2 will feel like deja vu has punched you in the left testicle, as the game will open to being relatively normal, if you count gibberish text and warped music normal, and if you do, you're flippin' weird.
Doki Doki doesn't throw you into the deep end with horrific happenings happening left, right and centre, but instead is subtle with its horror, with the glitches and the outplay shenanigans. The game exploits the happy-go-lucky atmosphere that you created in Act 1 by making you the culprit of your own fear.
Now, you may be wondering why this portion of the episode is labelled as it is, so let me explain. While the mainline story stays relatively the same, a lot of different things can happen that mess with your playthrough. For example, while you're talking to certain characters, the planning poster in the background has a chance of being replaced with Sayori's death scene.
Modern art!
The game is littered with these types of Easter eggs to keep you feeling tense and on your toes, such as Yuri's eye slowly falling away when you first talk to her in Act 2, or the background slowly turning red and sound effects that just squelches start to play in your ear.
This is fine.
I don't know why that's weird, that's just me on a Friday. Occurrences like these don't happen for everyone, so every playthrough will have their own little unique quirks and mishaps that will make anyone go from, to...
This links back to the norm that was set up in Act 1. You know how this world and its characters are supposed to act normally, so to see them freak out in front of you is subconsciously unsettling, but having your computer screen glitch enough is enough to scare someone properly. So what's next on Monika's list to screw around with? So, we've talked about the game world glitching more than a typical Bethesda game. So, what about the Dokis?
Again, anyone who's watched or played Doki Doki Literature Club know exactly how each of the 4 characters are supposed to be like because of Act 1. Sayori's aloof and kooky, Natsuki's sweet and cutesy, Yuri's deep and brooding, and Monika's brains and beauty.
Is that a Stupendium reference?
So, we all know how they're supposed to act. Heck, if you played the game yourself, you would have written poems for them for 3 days straight, and then spend the weekend with one of them. So how do they differ from Act 1 to Act 2?
From here on out, everything gets turned up to 11. Sayori is obviously not in Act 2, so every time the game references her, it glitches that and replaces her with Monika. Natsuki stays relatively normal, but will have bouts of, whatever you call this.
But Yuri is the main change you'll see in this act, as she becomes way too into you. One of the encounters she could have with you is dragging you into the closet and will stare at you for a minimum of around 12 seconds as she breathes heavily.
I want my mommy.
Like the previous section, this all feels wrong psychologically, as you've played through the game with all the characters as normal as possible. You know their personalities, and this game makes you spend time with all of them so you get attached to these characters. So to see them freak out like this isn't just unsettling, it feels wrong.
I mean, when Yuri confesses her love to you, she upright says that she uses your pen to touch herself, and I can tell you, that ain't normal, Chief.
Please, just know how much I love you. I love you so much that I even touch myself with the pen I stole from you.
Wait, this pen right here?
Isn't it romantic? What the fuck?
Meanwhile, what's the constant throughout this entire game? What stays the same no matter what? Who is really pulling the strings here and getting rid of the characters faster than I got rid of the first design of animated Alan? Oh? You're finally awake, huh? Welcome. I figured out how to keep you in here. I just had to make this episode all about me. Sorry, just a minor glitch. I'm not breaking that easily. And this is a recording. No one can stop me. Wait. What's happening?
I didn't really have a clean way of finishing the joke.
Monika, the main villain of this game. A sentient AI that found out that she was in a game and tried her best to make you love her back. But is she really the villain?
Yeah, she killed my waifu.
I'm still here!
Oh god!
Remember earlier when Harry made a point that Monika has no root? Well, this feeds into her character, as she's the only one who became self-aware, but forced to never have an happy ending, and watch you fall in love with one of her friends.
While this doesn't make her as terrifying as the other happenings in the game, it makes her motive feel real, and in turn, makes her feel real. She's got rid of all the other friends to make you her own. She truly loves you, so what do you do in return?
However, this action isn't one you'd probably take lightly, however, as you've already spent 6+ hours playing this game and getting to know the characters. You might feel some bitter remorse doing this, and if you did, congratulations, you're a sim! This game has done exactly what it wanted to.
And that's why I believe Doki Doki Literature Club is the perfect psychological horror game. Instead of going down the typical jump scare route that was common for indie horror games at the time, it went and made itself more refined in its horror and really got into your head. And to be fair, that's all the really points are said about it. Isn't that right, Harry? Harry?
Oh, sorry, Alan. I just had to put some dinner on and have a drink and stuff, and... Does that mean he's not going to come on and play Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing?